The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.
Hello, and welcome to our coverage of the 2023 Spring Chess Classic. My name is Julian Proleiko, and I'm joined by Women's Grandmaster Tatev Abrahamyan. I guess you're going to take us through the pairings.
Well, hello everyone and welcome. Yesterday we had a very exciting round one, so let's take a look at where we are with the standings, as we did have some decisive results. So in Group A we had two decisive results as Dardha defeated Benjamin Bach and Yasser Quesada defeated the young Christopher Yu. And now let's take a look at standings in Group B. In Group B, we only had one decisive result with Akshat Chandra winning his game and everyone else drawing. But even so, we had a lot of fighting games, and some of these games went on even after we're done with our broadcast. So I think we should see another fighting day today.
Yeah. So the tournament format is it's a 10-player round robin. There are two sections, an A group and a B group. And what a round robin means is everybody will play everybody. The time control is 90 minutes for the first 40 moves, then 30 minutes after move 40 for the rest of the game, and a 30-second increment, of course, throughout the entire game.
And let's take a look at what we have today. And
yeah, so the schedule, there is one game per day every day. There are no rest days. They begin at 1 p.m.
And let's take a look at the pairings of the day. And we see the playing hall right now. So the players are playing at the Chase Hotel. And we have in the Group A, so the key matchup of the day will be Sevian versus Dardha. So Daniel was the victor yesterday, and today he has the black pieces against the highest rated player of the tournament, Sevian. So let's jump into this game right now and let's take a look at where we are. So as we're taking a look at this game, we are already on move 25 and we have some kind of an endgame, a rook endgame with 4 rooks on the board where white is up a pawn. So Sevian is pressing in this position. So let's see how we got here. So Sam with the white pieces facing a Berlin. So d4. So of course we know that there is this line, the very famous Berlin draw.
Not good Nepomniachtchi, right?
We are not, of course, going to see this with the repetition. Okay, so instead he goes bishop c6, and we have the Berlin endgame, knight c3, bishop e7, and bishop f4. So I'm not, I actually have never played this endgame before. Have you ever played it? What do you play against the Spanish?
So yeah, I have played some Berlin in my life.
With both colors?
With both colors. I mostly played rook e1 instead of this
oh, okay. So you don't
d4
go for
line.
this endgame. Yeah, I've also, the few times I have gone, usually I play d3. I don't go for, in this position, I will play d3 to avoid all of this anti-Berlin. Yeah, in this position, in this line, I also have played rook e1. I haven't gone for this. So of course, this is played a lot at the top level. So we go for this endgame, and knight c3, bishop e7. Usually rook d1 is played, but bishop f4, and it's not the most common move. I was actually looking at this before we started the broadcast. So I mean, these endgames are have been pretty heavily analyzed by the top players. We see them a lot. So h5, usually a common move, stopping this g4 moves in the future. So the knight stays on f5, rook d1.
Yeah, it's curious that black plays h5 because like white sort of gets an ideal setup with rook a d1, rook f e1. I believe instead of h5, like my first instinct would be to move the bishop like to e6 because I want to be able to play king c8 after rook to d1. So I wonder why he chose the move h5 after bishop f4.
But in some blinds, maybe, well, I guess g4 is met with knight h4. I have seen this h5 move before. I have seen this king go here. I think this is some game that Wesley was also playing with when the king was on e8. I think against some Shankland in the American Cup. So knight h4. It's kind of funny, right? Because here you're like, oh, I can just castle and then all my problems are solved.
It's true.
So knight e2.
But then your opponent will call the arbiter, unfortunately.
Okay, so here is actually maybe already a critical moment, and bishop e6 needs to be played, because after a6, immediately e6 was allowed. So if knight d4, then okay, c5 is also possible. So the idea of a6, so that knight d4 can be met with c5, so there is no knight b5, so a6 is played, but now e6. And as you mentioned, this king in the center can actually come under fire. So bishop takes, knight d4. Actually, I'm curious, if pawn takes, pawn takes, we just take, and now knight d4, and this pawn is just too weak, and this bishop is just never going to get out. So black had to take with the bishop.
I think this is pretty thematic as a nightmare Berlin endgame.
So knight d4, so now white simply wants to take on c7 actually, and king e7 here is not possible, something black would love to play, because check, and this bishop is hanging. So instead he goes bishop f6. So capture. So now white has an option of which pawn to capture, but since this is a weak pawn, he captures the c7 pawn, as this pawn will always be loose and hanging. So capturing the pawn immediately is not possible because pieces are hanging. Instead, bishop f4, g5. Yeah, g5 is a bit of a difficult move to play because you are creating some more weaknesses. Although I do understand this move. So the problem is there's no king f7 because the rook comes in. And I think this runs into rook d6, which is also problematic. So I think he realized that he cannot hang on to the pawn. So if g5, if bishop goes to d6, now we cut the path of the king, the rook. Now the king goes to f7, so there's no more rook d7 check. So that makes sense. And if here, then I think we can maybe even try harassing this bishop. But this move is met immediately with bishop e5, and the problem is there's just too many weaknesses in black's position. Because if you take, in the game king d7 was played, but now I'm just picking up a very healthy pawn.
Yeah, black's position looks pretty unpleasant already.
Yeah, because I have like my centralized rooks, and these rooks are not in the game. So king e7, very logical. So exchange and rook d7. Okay, so now black has to make some kind of a decision, because if you play a move like rook b8, then your rook is just going to stay here for a while. I'll just double, so you can never challenge my rook, and after I bring my king or create a loft for my king, I can start thinking about doubling on the 7 rank.
Yeah.
So this is very unpleasant.
Yeah, and you just have no counterplay.
And often in rook endgames, we know that it's better to give up a pawn than suffer. So it's better to activate your rooks and give up a pawn and look for counterplay. Because even down a pawn, rook endgames are not easy to win. Or they're up a pawn, they're not easy to win. So he gives up a pawn, activates the rook. Okay, so this rook is actually great. So this move defends b2. So now there's some kind of a dynamic, because if you go after this a pawn, then I will take this b2 pawn. So rook d8, doubling on the d file.
Yeah, I like black's decision to go active in this case. Like, say what you will about black being down a pawn, but all of his pieces are pretty good. Even his king on f6 is probably better than white's king on g1. Yeah,
rook d2 was a really nice move, as you mentioned, cutting off the king, which is key aspect of rook endgames, because because there are not that many pieces left on the board, so the kings are actually important pieces. So if you cut your opponent's king off, then it's like you're playing with an extra piece. So c3, rook cd8, rook b6, okay, attacking both these pawns, but okay, I don't think, oh, actually no, rook c6 is a very big threat because e6 will hang, so he has to defend c6, and a4 is played. So the idea is, if you take, then I take, and this exchange actually is very nice for black because now white has two disconnected pawns, and after a move like rook c2, like for example if we push the passed pawn, rook c2, already this pawn cannot be defended. So the activity is paying off here for black. Instead white plays a4, and this is quite a nice move because we can push this pawn to a5, and after we take on a6, then this pawn gets closer to promotion, so it's just better to have it on a5 if it's going to become a pass pawn, and maybe something like before a5 and try to win that pawn.
Yeah, I wonder if black should try c5 here and exchange a pair of rooks and then claim that b2 is still weak and we're still more active than our opponents.
So takes, and immediately, so let's say I go b4.
And like rook d4 here, perhaps.
And
yeah, actually this looks pretty troublesome.
Yeah, so we don't want to allow a pass pawn with a rook behind it. So takes, so b4, but maybe we can still try. Because there's a back rank weakness, but so there's a problem here, because if you go rook a2, you don't have time to take, because... So maybe there is something else. So after b4, maybe you shouldn't take. Maybe something like this. And of course, this is great. You win the pawn back. And if rook b1, now we have to calculate this. Because I think taking is bad. Takes. I'm threatening.
So I guess... Oh, yeah. We might be just in time, right?
Yeah, but now we're entering some...
Move by move territory.
Yeah. Okay, let's just keep going. So here. So if you go after this pawn, I think you will... Okay. Now we're on move like...
Yeah, apparently this is a draw, but you need to be like super sure.
Yeah, to enter some kind of a king and pawn endgame is very risky, because you have to be 100% sure. Because rook and pawn endgames, there's a lot that can be done, but king and pawn endgames, you can calculate them until the end, so it becomes a matter of tempo. So this is very risky. Maybe we could have played better with white at some point. But okay, yeah, I mean c5 I think is a big risky decision. So if he's going to do that, he needs to... So it's a matter of considering if it's better to have 4 rooks on the board or 2 rooks on the board. So I can understand c5 because we're trading our opponent's strong rook for our like less active rook, and rook d2 is coming, and now white is left with this e1 rook and this bad king. But again, the game becomes a little more concrete. Instead, he played rook e2. Of course, this is impossible. Oops. Because of mate. So this rook will go probably to f1. Because if the rook goes somewhere, then rook d2. Something like this cannot be allowed because everything hangs. So the rook will have to go to f1. And maybe here actually rook d2 is a consideration. Because if you take... I'm not sure you can hang on to every pawn. So for example, if I go here, wait, why did I go there? I wanted to go here, and here.
Barely hanging on, rook a3 probably, right?
Yeah, so the problem is if I took the c pawn, then the rook goes behind again, and then this part starts going. So I think maybe we should just hold this position and not let white get out.
That's fair. It's a little kind of awkward to make moves with white.
Yeah.
Also.
But also giving up to pawns is very scary.
Right.
So after rook e2, rook f1, I think this is the game. So let me promote.
Yeah,
and
definitely Sam is pressing here for sure.
But something like rook c2 maybe, and just kind of wait around and not make any committal decisions. Not before is not an option. And just kind of wait around and see how white can make progress. Because exchange of pawns on the queen side is I don't think something that black wants to avoid, because then when the pawns get separated, it's easier to target them, and this rook is very inactive on f1, very passive. So this, I think, good compensation for black. Okay, so this was our keep matchup of the day. So what do you think, closer to a draw or white pressing for a long time?
Probably white's going to press for a little bit.
Okay, so the time situation is 13 minutes versus 30, and we're on move 27. So still quite a bit of moves to make until we reach move 40. And in the meantime, let's take a look at the pairings for Group B. So in Group B, we only had one decisive result. Yesterday, Akshat Chandra winning that really nice game with that Queen D1. He was in the studio showing that game to us and explaining his preparation. So that was a really nice victory. And today he has the black pieces against Luka Budisavljevic, a Mizu student. And let's go to that game and take a look to see what is happening there. So right now we have this position. And this position looks... so let's count the pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the first thing we need to know. This actually looks quite pleasant for white, I think. Central pawns. This knight is out of the game. Control of the e-file. So far I think white has a bit of an edge.
This looks like a Queen's Indian of sorts. What did this come from?
So let's see where it comes from. 6, knight f3. So it comes from Bogo Indian and c5.
Mm-hmm.
So takes. e3. Bishop d3. Okay, so this is where we got this pawn formation. So everything looks very normal so far.
Yeah, I've played a similar line with black, but I start with b6 and go bishop b4 after g3. And then when they go bishop d2, I play the move c5. So very similar structure.
You go b6 here?
Mm-hmm. Then g3, bishop b4. And if knight d2, I go bishop a6, but if bishop d2, I go c5.
Mm-hmm.
I actually beat Alice Lee here, which I was pretty happy about.
Yeah, so something I haven't managed to do yet. Yes, okay, so some kind of a mix of the structures. Yeah, I used to play Queen's Indian, but it's a bit depressing for black sometimes. And then I started playing Catalan. But I started playing this line, and then everyone plays knight c3, and then I started playing this, and I think I've lost so many games in this variation.
Yeah, I also like this line for black.
No, I've lost a lot of games here with black. Then you get this broken structure, and then your pawns just start to fall at some point if you're not active enough.
It's true. It's a very sharp line.
Yeah, I think I just don't have a good feel for the position yet. But okay, so we're playing this line, so e3, so of course g3 is another way to develop, and he plays with e3, just a matter of preference where white wants to put their bishop. So d6, castle, knight a6, yeah, so then, so the knight is quite happy to go here, so white is just keeping the tension. So at some point white can push e4 and get this nice center. So actually there was a game in this line, wow.
Yeah, I think white needs to be like pretty careful about playing e4, because if you play e4 at the wrong time and black just gets to play e5, and even like sometimes you can even like sacrifice a pawn like this. I don't know if you can do this here, but this would be pretty good for black if you can get the c5 square.
Even with this bishop, right? Because at some point this bishop can come back, and this bishop also not impressive. Oh, so like you want to give up?
Yeah, like something like this. I've always found to be like pleasant to play with black, even if you give up a little bit of material.
Yeah, this is very awkward for white. It's actually not clear how to defend this bishop, because if you go back immediately, you lose the pawn. So already starting to look a bit loose for white there. So e4 is a committal move because weakens the square. So instead knight g5, knight h7.
Wow.
That's a funny way to exchange knights. And the bishop comes back. Okay, so exchanging a lot of pieces. I think he found this bishop to be quite annoying, so he decides to get rid of it.
Yeah, this bishop h7 thing, I see a lot of good players do this because, like, I guess the king's a little bit worse on h8 than it is on g8, so they just want to make like a slight improvement before they play the move bishop e4. I see this a lot in these Queen's Indian and Queen's Gambit type positions.
Yeah, this is a nice trick. I think when I was younger, I always thought this is so clever that you check and then you come back to e4. Well, here it was a capture, but in general, this kind of a thing. So f4, so grabbing some space here, rook e8, rook e1, so all of this logical, and finally e5. Okay. So now there's some clarification in the center. I think maybe black thought he's going to be very passive, probably maybe afraid of taking e4. Maybe this rook can start going to the other side of the board, so e5 was played. But this is quite committal. Like pawn structure changes are very committal.
Yeah, I think white having played f4 is some achievement. I don't know if you agree, but I never liked these types of positions where white has already played the move pawn to f4 because it stops the main idea sort of playing e5 as easily.
Yeah, and I think if black makes some kind of a move, let's say if we pass the move, if I can go f5, I just want to see how annoying it is. Because if I get my pawn to f6, this looks actually very dangerous. So black will have to take, I think.
Yeah.
But this also looks quite unpleasant.
Yeah.
Oh, because now you don't have e5, so I can just go e4. So this rook moves, and something like this is possible. And bring the queen. Maybe I can start thinking of an attack one day. And this knight is very alienated here.
Yeah, the whole point of the knight on a6 is to eventually put it on c5, and it doesn't seem like it's getting there anytime soon.
Yeah, this pawn is not voluntarily going to move. So f5. Oh, no. Rook a1, e5, rather, takes, and knight f3. All of this very logical. Yeah, this looks quite pleasant for white again. A lot of exchanges, but now white has a pass pawn, so it's 3 versus 2 on the king side. So it's going to be more difficult to make a pass pawn. The knight is going to e5, and if I compare these knights, of course, the knight on f3 that's headed to e5 is much better. So that's why f6 was played, because knight e5 would have been a very difficult move to face. And now queen to g6, but here my natural instinct would be knight to h4 to put the knight on g6. Or at least maybe queen g6, knight f5. I understand with that light squared bishop, maybe this is not as scary because, okay, if I had a bishop on b1, this would be terrible. So knight g6, king g8, maybe I'm not really achieving much. But okay, I can put a knight on f5, I think this is quite nice. But it started with queen g6. I don't think this is, I think this looked also very normal. King h1.
Just a housekeeping move, I guess. Maybe he wants to play knight h4, but obviously right now if you play knight h4, then queen d4 will come with check, which is not good.
Yeah, king h1, like a prophylactic move, putting the knight away. But now takes and rook f8. I would expect knight c7 here with the idea to play, so one of the reasons the knight is on a6 is, so there's 3 things we have to worry about. So I think the structure if the knight lands on f5 can be very unpleasant, and this e-file is something to worry about, and also this pawn tension here. So we have to think about, do we ever want to take, or when white takes, if we want to allow this take. So I think this is a big consideration. So that's why, so the rook e1 was played. Wait. Rook f8 was played. Okay. I got confused of what's my analysis once the game. So now I'm thinking if we should play knight c7 right away or take and knight c7. But I also think this also might be a huge decision because you're left with this pawn. I don't know how significant that it's going to be, but I really want to be able to at least challenge this e-file.
Yeah, and I mean maybe b6 isn't so weak because c4 is also like kind of undefended and unopened file.
Okay, so if we trade, yeah. So
Yeah.
c4 can also become a target. You're right.
Yeah, I like your knight c7. It feels like getting mated should be
More
our
difficult.
#1 priority.
So he played rook f8, and now takes. So maybe white does not want to allow this exchange, so maybe knight c7 is coming. So rook f8, what else can we do? Can we no, if push the pawn, the knight goes to c5. Oh, but still knight d4. Even this I think is pleasant. Knight goes to f5, rook e7. Seems like some kind of a domination here.
Yeah, the knight managed to get to c5, but at the price of all of white's pieces being really active and good.
Yeah, I like this. So we are here. Oh, I moved it. So knight b4, so this is the current position that we have. So can I go d5 here, maybe? d5. So what was the difference? So if I go d5 here.
So yeah, point of this is obvious. Yeah, I like your idea of knight d4, knight f5. It just freezes all of the pieces. Do you need to take, can you go knight d4 right away? I don't know if that.
No, I'll take the pawn.
Then knight f5.
Okay, so now I need to move. So now you want to go rook e7.
Right.
Can I push?
So if I play rook e7.
Oh, rook e7 threatens mate. I thought
Yeah.
I'm so clever I can just go here, but you're threatening mate. Okay. So here I need a move. Oh, maybe queen f7?
Yeah. Okay. That does
Yeah,
eliminate
queen
my
f7 is a good
threats.
resource.
Mhm.
But maybe here I can take,
Mhm.
and if you take,
Then all this comes with
um,
tempo.
so knight d4, knight e6. But I think you're surviving. Are you surviving here? If I take? Okay, so if you take, I have mate.
Right.
And if you don't take, but maybe queen g5 is a move?
Oh, what about, okay, maybe queen d2 is super clever.
Oh no, because I cannot stay on the e-file, so now I
Right.
have to move away, and now you win my horse. Oh
Yeah.
no, I lost my horse. And then, yeah, now I'm getting mated. So this did not go as intended. So what can I do here?
Maybe, okay, I
Right.
wanted to say rook e7, but queen f1, maybe it's too much.
Rook g8, can I push? So here, d7, queen d1, here?
Yeah, queen e8 looks nice.
With the idea, take, check, and hope that we're not getting mated. Actually, I'm not getting mated, right? Because knight d3,
Yeah, everything's
So we'll
with check,
just
luckily.
check.
And
And I
queen
just-
d4 or
yeah, I
something.
just have to cover this, and I'm up a rook. So how did we get here? So after rook f8, I don't know how. I'm just gonna switch back and forth. Okay, so in this position, we're looking at d5 immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe the difference, so if takes, d5 now we can go b5. And now things starting to hang.
Yeah.
And then if you take on, if I take on d5, then I'm covering e7. So there's going to be no more rook e7. So taking on b4 maybe was less accurate. But okay, d5 is not the only move. There must be other moves for white. So like, I still think that structure is really nice here.
Perhaps white can try knight h4.
And can I be brave?
My intention was to play knight f5, but I guess you just go back.
We saw this, right? And then
Well, your
no, we
queen-
didn't see
your-
this.
Yeah, your queen's hanging.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Sorry.
So queen d7. Ah, okay. So we
Right.
saw a different version of this.
Yeah,
So
because there's queen d1 here.
can you? But am I? Can I do what? So your next move is queen f7, right?
Yeah, I guess.
This is kind of annoying. Queen f7. Black is happy to trade.
Yeah, I'm curious why the eval bar says that white's better here, because I don't see anything concrete, and it does now sort of feel like I'm down a pawn.
Yeah.
Well, while these guys are thinking about this game, let's take a look at what they're playing for. So, in Group A, the top prize is $6,000, second place is $4,000, and third place is $3,000, with the total prize fund being $22,000. A huge prize fund, which is nice. For the B group, they're playing for a little bit less money, but still quite a bit. First place is $4,000, second place is $2,500, and third is $2,000, with the total prize fund being $14,000. They're playing for quite a lot of money.
And as you were telling us what they're playing for, I was looking through the games, and this game caught my eye as black is up 2 pieces. I haven't looked at the moves yet, but I would assume that white started some kind of an attack, sacrificed too many pieces. And let's see how we got here. So this is the game between Kirk Ghazarian and Gergely Kantor. So we have another Queen's Indian, or rather Indian defense, so d5, and knight c3. Okay, so this is the d takes c4 that I was lamenting about, but black plays c6, so we have a Stanislav.
Yeah, this is like the starting position, right? Like they call that the tabia because black has like 10 different moves. After knight f3, knight c3, you can play dc4, you can play bishop e4, you can play c5. Like I think every move has been played, even like h6 and a6 have become somewhat popular.
Oh, I played h6 here, and this is a nice move.
Oh yeah.
You just ask white, what do you want to do? Because there's this line that I kind of like, just kind of avoids things. And you just ask white where you want to put the pieces. Because if they go e3, at least you're like, okay, I don't have to face bishop g5. So now you can actually play a6 here. Because with the idea, again, you're wasting a move on asking white what to do. If they go bishop e2, then you're quite happy because white spends 2 moves to take on c4, and now you get in b5. So it really justifies this a6, h6 thing, which is kind of funny because this is against everything we have learned as young players.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do in the opening a6 and h6.
They always told me don't move too many pawns in the opening, and then every opening you move all your pawns.
Yeah, I think once you get to a certain level, unless you look at like top level games, you're like, but this is everything I've learned not to do.
Yeah, h6 is a cool idea.
So bishop g5, so we are entering some sharp lines.
This is the anti-Moscow, I believe.
And g5, bishop g3, b5. I have tried playing some versions of this position. Actually, in this line, which I was mentioning before, I mean, bishop g5 is possible here too.
I have never played that position with either color. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, these positions are very sharp. So, okay, this is a very long-term pawn sacrifice, but this, oops, not this. This black has compromised their king side, but even so, it's not so scary for black. And actually, I have to. So e5 immediately. This is quite committal. Of course, white can start with castles.
Yeah,
e5
e5 doesn't feel intuitive because doesn't black like want to play the move knight d5? Like this creates a huge square on d5, at least to my eyes.
Well, the idea is to go like control these dark squares. So queen b6. So this is all still theory. So a4. So a4 is the lesser, less common move. So knight d4 is more theoretical. So a4 is played. So you can guess this is all preparation. a6, securing the queen side. Queen e4, c5. Ooh, and this is the sharp position.
Yeah,
the eval bar is telling us that white is winning.
I saw the eval bar go way up, but I was like, wow, ED is such a normal move.
Yeah, so computer wants to take with bishop d5 and keep, well, okay, this is the other move, right? It's not like you're going to give up a piece, so if ED is bad. But okay, so if your opponent plays ED, then you have to find a way to punish them, right? Because otherwise black would love to have this kind of a central structure.
Is the idea knight f6?
I mean, I do have the engine on, so I did see the first move, bishop g4, which is so difficult to find.
Oh, the point is if takes, then bishop d7, king d7, dc5. Wow.
Yeah, but I think you have to know these positions really well to spot this kind of ideas, because this is not very intuitive.
Of course, once I see the move, I can see the idea, but coming up with the idea is hard for me.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge of analyzing with the engine, because you look at the engine, once you see the engine moves, it's just so logical, but then if someone gives you that position, and I think this is also the downside of when you prepare like something very sharp with an engine and then you play it, because when you prepare it, you're like, yeah, of course, and then sometimes you have the position and you're like, oh my god, like I'm getting mated, like, or I'm down a piece, like what am I doing?
Yeah, why did the engine say m+5 here? I don't know.
Or like you actually like start analyzing, you start thinking, or like your opponent plays a move that the engine didn't suggest, and you're like, but this is so logical, like why is this bad? And you just can't figure it out. So I think it's analyzing with the engine can really influence your thinking, because once you see it, it's just so logical and so easy. Yeah, and c takes d4, but this position, maybe even taking is possible. Yeah, or maybe even something like this.
Yeah, this is what I was thinking with the idea of playing rook e1 next, but I
Maybe
guess
the bishop comes out and the king runs.
Yeah.
Like bishop c5, let's say, rook e1, and I just don't care. This is such a nice pawn formation.
Yeah, intuitively, actually, I have no good intuition for these sorts of positions. Just looks like you could convince me that either side was winning. Yeah, black's king is weak, white just has too much activity, or black's just up a whole bunch of pawns and white has no attack. I would believe you either way.
Yeah, this is very risky. Still looks a bit scary for black, I think, but black is up a lot of pawns here.
Yeah, white better do something.
But instead, in the game, knight d6 was played, which I think is very logical. So takes, queenside castle, which looks really wild, but black has to go for this. Castling on the other side is too risky, because this, without the dice square bishop, this king is too weak. So something like h4, I think, or even the idea that we saw with bishop g4, f5 here, maybe. But I think h4 here is just quite difficult to face.
Yeah, maybe bishop g4, f5 is possible because you can play like queen c2.
So queen c2, and if you take...
Yeah, my idea was to go queen g6 and
then you take all my pawns?
Right, and then I want to take on g5, go queen h5, and then take on d7 eventually.
Oh, I got too excited. But
okay,
but I got rook a3, I still can't go to
yeah.
a3. But maybe we can...
I like the zigzag idea, queen h6, queen g5, queen h5, queen g4.
I was worried. Okay, so let's try it. Yeah, this is really nice. Okay, once this knight is gone, the bishop comes in and it's made. This king is so lonely here. But something like rook a1 with the idea rook e7, because e8 is covered, is also extremely strong. Yeah, so castling kingside is just not possible, so black has to go for this, which is very common in this position. So d takes c5, queen takes c5, ab, and f5. So the fact that black got in f5, and because I've saw this bishop d4 move earlier, I think this move actually might be necessary just to tie down this knight and not to allow f5. So if h5,
yeah,
maybe I can even take. Or maybe I should just put a bishop here, h4, bishop here.
I was gonna ask about h5 because if you take it, then isn't f5 strong for black?
Yeah, now you have f4 and g4. Yeah, so this f5 should not be allowed. So we have to put a physically, like, stop this pawn from moving. And if h4, it looks like my bishop is trapped, but I have bishop e5 because of this pin, and let's defend. So if king b8, what can we do?
Maybe we can even try queen d4. I don't know how you feel about these endgames.
Queen d4, I think tactically runs into a problem.
Could we play queen d4 last turn?
Here?
Because c5 is not protected at the moment.
Okay, so this is hanging. So okay, let's see. If I take, so what is, yeah, this looks quite, I mean, it's just such a domination, right? So if I go here.
Yeah, rook a5, like you were pointing out, seems pretty good.
Yeah, and then this other, if something like this other rook comes in, this looks very, yeah, this domination, this bishop versus this knight. I mean, black wishes they could just take this d5 pawn off the board and just free this bishop, but this d5 pawn is just, it's really annoying when your own pieces get in the way of your other pieces, especially pawns, because you can't do anything. No, this was queen d4 is a really nice move. So here instead he went b3. I understand b3, you're trying to attack. But the problem with b3, you don't think you want to capture this way because...
Yeah, it frees the bishop
frees the bishop, maybe the bishop comes and then makes this worse. But bishop g4, maybe d4 is a move actually.
Yeah, definitely you have to calculate that. Maybe b4 here? I don't know how you feel about that.
Okay, so take, this is extremely bad. Again, the same domination. This is probably actually just mate, right? Because queen b6 is coming.
Yeah.
So c takes b3 before c takes b3 is not possible. So my queen has to go somewhere. So not too many options, let's say here. Actually, I don't like it here. I want to stay close to my king.
Yeah, I was going to play bishop f3 on any of those moves. And then like take on b7.
Yeah, so without this bishop, my king does look weak, right? So if queen takes...
Then queen d4.
Yeah, this again.
And if king takes, then queen f3, I think.
Yeah,
and
this
if
is
you play
great.
queen c6, rook a7.
Yeah, really nice. Very nice trick. Yeah, this b4 move looks very annoying, so I have to go back. I mean, I'm kind of nervous about b4 because if this doesn't work out, then your opponent has these 2 pawns. But maybe again, back and go for this idea. We're down a tempo compared to the lines we just saw. But without this bishop, we saw that the king is extremely weak. So it makes a lot of sense for white to trade these bishops. But in the game, instead, b3 was played, and we see the eval just drops. So f5, yeah, f5, I think he missed this or misjudged how strong it is, and just f4 is coming. So takes, this bishop is strong. So I think this is probably nothing to be worried about now, because is f4, can I take?
Yeah, I guess queen f3, we can even play like king b6, yeah.
Oh, the king just hides here. It's just very brave, but but the thing is, like, too many pieces are now coming off.
I've seen this idea in the Botvinnik, where they put their king on b6, like, voluntarily.
Yeah, and that's just annoying, right? Because you need your bishop to be, like, here.
Yeah.
And the bishop is on g3. And this happens in attack sometimes, when you're attacking and you overcommit, and sometimes you sacrifice too much, and then you have nothing to play with anymore. And just too many exchanges happened. So instead he went queen b1. So, okay, so he has to give up a piece. So rook a5. Okay, I understand this. He's looking for a counterplay, bishop c6. So white is in no hurry to take the bishop because the bishop is trapped. So bishop takes on c4, queen takes, rook c1, queen d5, and this is quite unfortunate because this is a tempo move. So white would love to be able to take on b5 here because this is actually very annoying. But unfortunately, it runs into mate. But if it weren't for this tempo, if it weren't mate, this queen actually doesn't really have any... Maybe actually can still take. But okay, this is at least rook a5. We get some kind of counterplay here. But unfortunately, queen d5 comes with a tempo. So f3 is played. And now takes. Rook takes b5, takes here. And just no entry squares and not enough pieces for white to attack with. You need a minor, any kind of bishop, knight, anything. Any color bishop, any kind of knight, anywhere on the board. Just to do something. These rooks are just...
Yeah, you put a piece anywhere on the board for white and black's probably in trouble, but... Yeah, just not enough pieces, unfortunately.
I like how he's playing so casually too. Like, okay, I'll just improve my king. But no, this is rook c5, trying to exchange. Bishop b7, so queen a6 was a threat. Okay, bishop b7 defense, queen a7. Queen goes to c7, rook b1. But wait, this is not the... Oh, he won a piece back. But unfortunately at the cost of trading. So the position that we saw, it was this one, right? So from here, what happened? So he took, he brought the rook in, very logical. Rook e5, rook c5, and bishop b7 apparently is not ideal here. It's kind of funny, right? Because even up 2 pieces, somehow white has some chances. Oh, now I see this idea of king h2, because rook c1 otherwise would be hanging with a check. But king on h2 actually defends against this idea, which is so funny, because this prophylactic move and you're down 2 pieces. Okay, so we're threatening mate. So now we're piling. Okay. So this is...
Can we go back for a sec? Was it necessary to give one of the pieces back with black? Like,
what do you want to do?
I guess, so here it's already too late.
So yeah, you cannot move because this is mate.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you could have done like something earlier. Like, it's crazy to me that white just has enough counterplay. Like, Can you play rook c7 here? No, queen b7's mate. Yeah, that's
Oh, that would have been
nice.
unfortunate.
Yeah, that's very nice.
So what happens if I
queen?
just move my bishop? What is the move here? Is it... So queen a6 is not a move. Taking... I think I get away with this. Oh, rook c2 still.
Yeah, you still win a piece back. Wow. So white might have had more counterplay than we first realized.
Yeah, I think the key in these positions, it's just general advice, is just to keep the game going, you know, even if your position is really bad, because every move is a chance for your opponent to make a mistake if you can just kind of keep it together. So queen b7. Of course, every move is also a chance for you to make a mistake, but if you can keep it together, then your opponent has to try not to
I
make
guess
any mistakes.
the upside of being lost is if you make a mistake, you are losing anyway. So.
But look how much the eval drops. This is crazy to me. So if I take, and I pin you, you have to go here. What can I do here? Okay, if I go here, then you have knight f6. I want to go after this pawn. Can I just, like, perpetually pin you?
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
then just,
that's a nice idea.
And then just keep you... Oh wow, that's annoying.
Yeah, that I don't know how you even deal with that. Like, how
It's-
do you untangle from the pin?
Because, okay, if I take one more pawn, then my chances of trying... So, okay, so first of all, the problem is you have a knight. So if I trade all this pawn somehow, rook knight versus rook, it's just a draw. A very easy draw too. It's not like rook versus bishop.
Yeah.
And we only have very few pawns left on the board. So already with something like king h2, f4, I can trade another pair of pawns. So even with an extra piece, this draw territory feels close.
Right, but it also doesn't even feel like black can try to press in that final position. Like, as you pointed out, how does black even untangle his pieces?
So he played king h3 here. But
You know, like rook a1, king b7, as you pointed out, if you just check him whenever he's on the c file. Oh, I guess you go king c6 so that you can meet rook c1 with knight c5.
but
And
now I can...
But
So-
you don't have to play rook c1. You could just keep him.
Ah, yeah, because now you're not threatening to move your knight, so maybe now I can play here. So of course... So the thing is to keep the threat of king g4. So if somehow this knight moves away, then king g4, king h5, try to... If I get this pawn, I think this game will be very easy draw. The problem is this pawn is very far away. So what is the game? In the game he played king h3, which I understand. He wants to go here. So takes, but I think knight f6 here. So this I think is going to be a problem. So as long as I don't let you play king g4. So if you go rook b6, I will go rook f8. So temporarily this looks very passive, but my king can go to g6 and then I can free my rook.
Yeah, I think if the king were teleported to g6, black would be winning, but
So I can play knight g8 maybe. Oh, this rook to g6?
No, the king.
Oh.
If
Oh,
you,
the
if,
king
if
to
you
g6,
just
I
put the
thought you
king on
said.
g6,
Yeah.
I think white would be in trouble.
Yeah, I think this position is actually quite problematic. So the position is, so this is actually the live position. So rook f8 is going to be played. Black has no other move. Black is not going to give up this pawn or allow the king to come in. So rook f8 can be expected, and we're nearing move 40. So black will get additional time on the clock and very likely will win this game, I think. Actually, I'm not going to say that. But okay, I think the chances of win have improved significantly.
Do you want to take a look at some of the other matchups?
Yeah, let's go back to Group A. Let's see what happened to our Sevian game. There's also another game that I wanted to look at, but we kind of got distracted. Okay, so when we left off this game, we were in this position. So rook f1 was played. Wait, I have to do this again. So not a lot of moves actually, or a lot of moves. No, we're here, so rook f1, rook 1 to c2. a5, which makes a lot of sense to me to just keep pushing this pawn. Rook d5. And now h4. Oh, I like this move, breaking these pawns, and maybe in the future we can take this. Rook b2. We can use the help of the eval. G takes h4. Okay, but I think something went wrong for black because I don't like these exchanges. I really like this h4 move by white because like I think giving black these pawns is really nice.
Yeah, and it makes the f pawn passed if we can capture the e6 pawn, which happens sort of by force. Because I don't think you want to play rook e5 here.
No, rook e5. Actually, maybe you do.
Maybe you do.
So takes and then take. So maybe we can something like this. But then this will be some kind of a like a 2 versus 1. Like if I go here, here. And okay, 2 versus 1s are always like draw, but I do have a pass pawn. But I think here this should be a draw. I mean, okay, extra grandmaster should be able to hold this quite comfortably. So h4, okay, then Eval doesn't like the h4. So maybe black should have taken actually. So rook e1 instead. So now the problem is you cannot go here because I will take. So instead he took. So what is the difference? So if I take here, you go here. Okay, I have the option of rook e5 and these pawns are hanging. But if I commit rook b2 immediately, as it happened in the game, rook e1, I cannot go rook e5. So g takes h4, rook e6, and rook a6. Really? This is a bit surprising to me because does he think so this will happen? So does he think that he can hang on to this pawn? Because I don't think he can win both of these pawns. I'll give up h4, I'll hang on. So again, I can do some kind of a 2 versus 1. And I actually learned recently how so the way apparently you hold this 2 versus 1, someone told me recently, is you put a king on h6 and the rook on the g file.
Okay. Oh wait, why is that necessary to do?
Yeah.
I thought you could hold it just by
Like something like this. So here you actually have to be careful because you might find yourself in like a theoretically lost endgame. So for example, if you do nothing, like you wait, I will go here.
Yeah.
Right? And then I just...
Yeah, this looks...
so eventually... So now I'm threatening c7 and check, so you have to go to g7. But now because I have an f pawn, this is a win. Because I push it all the way to f6.
Yeah. It's funny, if black didn't have, like if black could trade both his h pawns for the f pawn, that would be a draw.
Yeah, this would be a really good trade, but the presence of this f pawn. But this rook a6 still surprises me a bit because it feels like he can... Okay, so this king also looks a bit funny to me here. Maybe he can go after the h pawns, maybe he can go after like check this king and then... Almost feels like a mating net, but okay, obviously we cannot checkmate a king in the middle of the board. But where does this king go? Can I target this pawns? Like if you go here, like check and...
Instead of going to e5, maybe we go to e4 with the king.
But then still check.
King d3. I hate playing passively in these sorts of endgames, even when I maybe should.
But if I trade now, let's say...
Yeah, it definitely becomes tougher.
But now you go h... I don't know, can I win?
You probably...
Like your king is now cut off in a really funny way.
Yeah.
Because usually the king gets cut off on like 7 ring, and now it's cut off on this ring. It's just rook a6 looks so committal to me. It just feels like white should have so many other options. Like check this king around, see where this... Because like I think when you start like playing this move, you also kind of giving your opponent a chance to maybe go to the wrong way with the king. Like if the king goes here, this looks like almost a mating net somehow. Like something like this. Am I not threatening mating too?
You are.
Okay. Yeah, it just feels bad. Feels wrong. Okay, but okay.
I guess after that, black would play like rook a4 or something to stop f4, but...
Oh, he didn't... So king f5, sorry. So the game is he took immediately. So rook c2. Is this the game?
No. Rook a6 is the
Oh,
last
so
one
this is the
played,
final position. So what are the options for black? I think black has to play rook c2. Or is he thinking rook c6? Is this maybe a win? Like the way that we showed and just start pushing this pawn? Or
So I see
like here?
the eval bar probably would indicate that it's not winning, but I couldn't tell you how. Seems
okay, like the king is. But how? If you go here,
maybe you can play h3 at some point.
I just want to see. So here. So this has to be lost because I just win both pawns.
Mhm.
Because if you go here, I will play here, pawn f3, and I get two connected pawns. So you want to play h3.
Well,
So,
maybe
like
right
here.
away instead of passing, like a while, like, yeah.
Like
sure,
here?
sure.
So here, if I take
And then king h4.
So if king g2.
Then rook c3, maybe.
I don't think he will
No.
survive this. Let me see why not though. So if I push,
So I wanted to take
I push,
and rook c3
but your
back.
king gets stuck.
Oh, yeah.
But wait, they've all dropped. Why is this draw?
If I can stalemate myself, that would also be good. I don't know how to do it. Just like that, okay. Good.
Okay, but
That's
to
a nice
find
try.
this over the
Yeah.
board that you stalemate yourself, this is like, okay. See, that's the
H3
thing, this
takes-
eval, like, these little hints just make such a big difference.
Yeah.
Someone tells me in this position you have a draw. Yeah, it's just like to stalemate yourself.
Wait,
This
but-
is wild. If I do this, oh,
Oh.
now I'm getting mated. I have to be careful. Okay, so here, you also have a pass pawn. So what is the live position? So live position, he checks,
And,
which apparently is a
and
huge
now-
mistake. Yeah, but I can see why, because you're just
Yeah.
helping my king.
I wonder if Sam saw this idea. Like probably not, right?
No,
like
I
if he
think-
went for this, he probably thought I'm just straight winning. And
Yeah,
it's
he
the
probably
stalemate trick.
thought I have a c pawn. Like I know this position with rook c8, pawn c7, and I have an f pawn. So all those positions with like the passive defense, or like with the king on g7, h7 is a draw, is a win. So maybe he thought he's just straightforward winning. I guess we can ask him. Well, let's see if he's gonna win this. Okay, rook f1. We have to go f3. But how do we? What do we do here as black? Oh, okay. So the idea is now I don't have king h3. You're gonna mate me, but I do have.
I actually lost an endgame like that once. As like I recently made 2200. I played a rapid game against another 2200, and there was no c pawn. I think I had this exact structure, and I played king h3 to try to win, and he played rook h1 mate, and I was not happy. Painful memories.
Oh no.
Shout out to Nick Carlo.
Okay, so rook f1. We're on f3. Well, this is Sam's move, right? f3. Let me promote this. So f3 wasn't played, the one that's highlighted. So, but I expect f3 to be played, and then what is going to be black's defense?
It looks like
Or
he
rook
played
f5
rook
was
a5
played.
first.
So the king has to go back. So this cannot be. So black cannot just lose h5 and h4. Two connected pass pawns will just be a win. So okay, so he's just cutting the king off, and now he will go f3. So if rook c1, so now the king is stuck going back and forth. Also maybe, oh, rook c2 is not possible because now I can go king h3. And now your rook cannot move because you have to be at all times attacking g2, otherwise I'll take h4. So now your rook is stuck. So you have to go king here, but, so if I go here,
I mean, this should also win, right? Just the way that you described earlier, push the pawn to c7 and then...
yeah, the problem is, even if you come and, I guess I cannot force you to, yeah, I mean, I can't even do this, right? Because something like this, if you take with the rook, I can go to an endgame. This is the easiest way for me to win, and then I just collect everyone.
Yeah, there are very few king and pawn endings down 2 pawns that are holding.
Okay, so in the game he went king f4. Okay. So the idea is if I take, you take, and rook h4. Man, king and pawn endgames are so tricky. Okay, so there's several moves. So rook g, king g4 is a move, take is a move. This must be a win. This has to be a win.
Yeah.
I think this is a win. I don't want to say incorrect thing, but yeah, this has to be a win, I think.
Is rook h3, rook f3 also winning or no? Like after king e3, can I go rook h3 and then rook f3 because I'm close to the key squares also?
Like if I go here?
Yeah, like rook f3 here.
So I'm probably forced to go back.
Yeah, I can't play rook f3 anymore, so.
So maybe something like this, check. No, this should be.
I just want to transpose to Lucina's somehow.
Okay, so king f4. So the idea is if take, maybe king g4 is a move. But if I go, let's say, I don't know where. I'll go here, so I'm defending my pawn. So I check, so rook f4 is not a move. You have to go to g5, and now here. And the question is, wait, no, I'm not taking a pawn. But I can check, right? So you cannot go to the h file, I check, you go this way, and now I push. This should also be a win, somehow.
Yeah, that's clever.
Pawns.
Yeah, you'll take h4 next. Yeah.
Okay, so king f4 is the move, but f3 I think is still a possibility. So, oh, f3 may be h, because now I cannot take its mate.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
So I don't want to do this.
Maybe you go g3?
Okay, I go g3, you cannot take because check.
Yeah, and the king's outside of the square of the c-pawn.
And if you go here, then I will check. You go here and maybe
f4?
f4, I was also thinking f4, h4. But your king is cut off, so
yeah,
this might
h2,
actually be winning. No, this has to be winning. Your king, because I can also cut off your king by one more square. And for you to draw this, no, you cannot draw this. For you to draw this, your king has to be on f7.
Yeah.
Okay, I think f5.
I think in order for you to draw this, the rook also has to be on like f8, and your king has to be cut by only one file.
Oh, so this is the game, h3.
Hmm.
Is there any other move? Is rook c4 a move? Yeah, this is also a pawn win, right? Oh, he went rook a4. Did I say rook c4? I meant rook a4. And he's just going to pick up the pawn, right? King here, I just...
Yeah, it's actually way simpler. Why be up one pawn when you can be up two?
G4, king f... Why can I move? And then you can drop your rook. No, this just looks like... And reaching move 40. So I think Sam will just... Yeah, I think he can also repeat the position, right? And reach move 40 and then think about what he wants to do. So I think this will be a very comfortable win for Sam at this point. Yeah, that was a very interesting endgame.
Do you want to take a look at the Christopher Yu Abhi Mishra game? So we thought that was pretty exciting.
Oh my god. A normal imbalance.
Classic.
Oh my god. What is going on? Whose turn is it? Oh, it's Block's turn too.
Yeah, this is the kind of chess you can see at the Spring Chess Classic. Casually down a rook and a bishop for a bunch of pawns, but look at those pawns.
Okay, so I have e2. Wait, so the last move before we go here, I have to mention that white queened. So white took. So e2.
Oh man.
So it's zeros, of course.
Of
as
course.
It always is in this position. Okay, so I'm trying to queen. So I'm trying to take. So you cannot do anything funny. I'll just queen. So yeah, I don't think you can take because... Oh, you have a resource. Check, king. Where does the king go actually? Here? And take.
Then queen.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now we have to play this endgame. And then it's like the game's... Oh, g4 is hanging. But okay, it's still like the game starts all over again. I feel like this is like you're playing like 3 different games in one because you had that crazy position and now all of a sudden you're playing some king.
Yeah, now it's a very technical endgame, which isn't as interesting as it was a moment ago. How did we get to that position though? Because there must have been some crazy tactics.
Okay, so we start with a Sicilian. So we play a Najdorf, bishop g5. Entering the sharper variations. So knight bd7, g4, this is all theory. Yeah, queen h3 was, and Christopher does like some very precise preparation. I remember during US Championship, what did he prepare? He played like Scandinavian against linear, he played some kind of an obscure line, and he did something else against Ray, I think. He prepared some, I think it was in the Berlin, Rookie 1 Berlin, where he like sacrificed the pawn. But for Ray to win, he had to be like very precise.
Wait,
so I think he's very good at like
was
preparation.
Was that the line where you where White takes on e5 and then plays d4 and just hands their rook on e5, but it's like a draw somehow?
Maybe, I vaguely remember.
Yeah, that line is unusual.
Yeah, so Christopher is very good at this kind of preparation. So he takes b4. Ooh. That's a gutsy move considering there's a bishop and queen on the c file. So knight went d7, g5, e5. Oh wow. Okay, so the idea is this must be losing, right? Takes.
Yeah. Bishop d5 is tough to deal with.
Oof. That's mate. So instead, black said, I will just give you a piece. Yeah, this kind of sacrifices are quite common in Sicilians. In the Dragons, it's also possible. Sometimes black gives up this bishop on g4 when they sacrifice for some pawns. And of course, especially with this diagonal, this is a very powerful bishop. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 3 pawns. So bishop d7, and of course we give this back. Knight b3. I think he thought this bishop is too strong. Can we castle? One of these 2 squares. Not here, bishop c6.
I like knight a5 somehow.
To stop bishop c6, right?
But something... So what are we doing against b6, I guess?
Against b6, I think queen...
Queen f3 works?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I'm not convinced.
Oh yeah, because queen a8, queen b8, queen a6, queen...
Where's the mate?
I think...
There has to be mate, right?
Yeah.
Queen takes, queen b6, knight b5 is not a check, knight d5 is not a check, rook d7 doesn't work, process of elimination. What else do we have? Queen where? And mate? Is this mate? No.
No, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. Okay.
Check until it's made.
Okay, but rook d8 was played, knight goes to c5, bishop c8. What is the material? Just 2 pieces for rook and a lot of pawns. So knight goes to e4. And...
b6, c3.
Oh my god. So now there's a lot of pawns on the board. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to like try to understand every move in this position or try to analyze it. So rook c1.
Yeah,
but why did he hang this before with a check?
Every move feels like a puzzle.
But okay, like here, maybe he thought this is too dangerous for the queen to kind of leave the king. So bishop d7, now knight c5, f5. So they are eval bar really likes white here. Queen h7 looks very strong. This looks very logical. King e7.
I think it's these types of positions that the computer's like, oh yeah, white's doing great, and then you play them. there's just no way.
I'm losing with both sides. Okay,
Yeah.
so d3, king b3. Oh my god, there's so many pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, white also has passed pawns.
Connected pass. White has 2 connected pass pawns.
There was a result between Benjamin Gledura Yasser Quesada Perez and Benjamin Gledura. I'm not sure what it was. I think I see the kings in the center, so I believe it was a draw.
We can check here quickly. Yeah, this was a draw. But let's finish our...
Yeah, I mean, this is just such a treat to look at.
Queen e5, f4, wow, what a game. What a battle. g4. So e3 and king f6. So we saw this position, e2 was played, and immediately queen d8. But I don't think there is there much difference? So if I go here, now you take, okay, now I can stay up a piece. So if you take, and I take, and then we start over. And now again, I have like 17 pounds for the pawn, but for the piece. But this pawn actually looks quite dangerous. Like if I push.
Maybe queen f2 or something.
Like I'm kind of tied down. Oh, now you're also threatening to push. Yeah, this is like very scary for both sides.
Yeah.
Wow, this is so king g6 was played.
I think this might be like
the game of the
tournament.
Yeah,
even if they draw, like this is such a good game by both players.
I saw also play exciting chess when I was young. I can't calculate this much. Okay, so this was very exciting. We can see this game between, and we do see the players on the board and the playing color. So we will see what happens in that game. So we have this position. So king g6 was played. So now it's white to move. So I expect maybe there's some perpetual here actually. Something I don't like, or the king can maybe try to hide.
Maybe you, yeah. Can you try to go up the board even like king g, or not king g5 check, but after you play like queen d8 check, like when I play king f6, maybe I can king f5.
And then if I go here, you have...
I still have to go back, but maybe I can try queen e4.
Yeah, at some point I'm gonna have to do this, right? But now I get to... No, but now this is not good for you. You didn't get my pawn. And without this pawn, I actually have a blockade here. So you have to be...
Right, and bishop d3 is a huge threat, so...
This became a bit of a problem.
Ambition with black might not be a good thing.
Let's take a quick look at this game. What happened? Yeah, so knight g6, bishop e3. C7. Interesting Sicilian. I always find this knight to be annoying here. I had a very similar structure against Irina Krush, except my position was better, and I had to play this g3, h4, h5, and I didn't. It was a must-win game for me too. So knight f8. But this position looks, to me, it looks pleasant for white. The two bishops. The prospect of two bishops is very strong in general in chess. c5. I understand c5 trying to develop this bishop and killing this bishop, but maybe immediately some f5 and bishop f4 ideas are in the air. So takes, rook e8, and the eval bar just jumped up. Wow. Bishop f4 was played, queen f7, rook, oh, I thought rook d6.
Yeah, bishop d6 makes a lot of sense too though, right? You eliminate the knight and then take e6.
Bishop c8. Queen g4.
Wait, I wonder... Oh, okay. So, I was thinking maybe you wanted to take, but no, queen. Yeah, but I guess this is not as good. Yeah, here I wanted rook d6, but I guess you take with the queen to stop rook d6, maybe.
Yeah, okay, so take with the queen. I mean, it still looks unpleasant. There's this unpleasant pin on the king. But our eval bar just went up like crazy. I try not to look, I mean, I have the engines like one line. I try not to look at it, but sometimes my eye catches it.
Yeah, I can only see the...
No, I mean, my, like I said, from the corner of my eye saw this. But yeah, this looks very strong because opening the position, like something like this, now the queen comes in too, and then rook f1. This looks pretty devastating. Instead, queen g4 is played, king h8, trades, wins a pawn. But I wonder why not win a pawn this way?
Yeah, black has back rank issues also.
this would be my... So maybe he thought there's something more concrete. Maybe he missed queen e7. Maybe he thought takes, which is of course not. Rook d7 is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe he missed queen e7 immediately. King f2. So takes. Okay, still up a pawn, but I think the worst is behind black. So king f3, c4. Oh, that's a nice move.
Yeah.
And now the queen comes in.
I was actually gonna say maybe white wants to play c4 himself at some point. Like maybe here you can try c4. I don't know.
Like here?
Yeah.
I think here then the queen comes from here maybe. Queen e5. Yeah, it's like what happened in the game. Like c4 is such a nice move because now all of a sudden things shift, right? The queen is coming and the queen, this white queen, finds herself to be on the wrong spot of the board. It's like this switch in the position and all of a sudden your piece is misplaced.
Yeah, your king could even end up not so safe.
Yeah, but here black has a lot of counterplay. Yeah, nice resource by black here. Queen it's the same pattern. Now it goes on the dark squares again now from this side. Yeah, this is really nice defense by black. Takes a lot of trades, and I'm expecting to see some kind of a perpetual. Oh no, they just agreed. Yeah, move 40, they agreed to a draw.
Yeah,
yeah, but there's a perpetual.
So even though this game was a draw, I'm sure, Quesada and Perez definitely should be a little disappointed in this one. He was doing really well earlier, and black needed to find some really nice moves to make a draw.
Yeah, black, I think, put up a really great defense here. So in this game, Sam's position has made a lot of progress. Yeah, really nice move g4 here. Instead of taking and playing with this separated pawns, he keeps the pawns connected. His idea is to play rook h5, take this pawn. So he plays king g2, rook c. Of course, again, this problem should be winning again, but why play with the separated pawns? He just checks. And actually he might be up 3 pawns, right?
Yeah. I've just learned that Sevian actually won this game, so
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's about to be up 3 pawns, and
And we have another result in Group A in Viktor Mikhalevski's game. And how did this game end? I see white won, I believe, in this game. No, wait, it's whose turn? Oh, it's black's turn. Okay, so that game ended in a draw. So let's see what happened there. G3, B5. This is quite a combative move because the idea is to play in this King's Indian attack positions. The pawn on B5 is actually useful. So D4, a lot of action in the center. D5, some kind of a...
Yeah, I've played this system with black, and you have to be careful not to get your bishop on B7 shut out like this. Results just keep coming in. I believe Benjamin Bach and Illia Nyzhnyk have drawn their game.
And that's a nice recovery for Benjamin Bach, who lost his game yesterday. So this game is... so actually got a Benoni, a fianchetto Benoni. So it's a double fianchetto. Yeah, this b7 bishop, I have a lot of experience with a poor light squared bishop. So knight e1, oh, really nice maneuver, but now black is stopping it by attacking e4. King g1, h4, wait, this pawn is hanging at some point, right? This pawn was hanging, wait, can I take? I mean, I understand it's scary. A lot of things are hanging. Maybe knight, bishop g7, knight g5. No, okay, I understand why taking this pawn is very scary. So knight g5. So now white is up a pawn. Okay, but black has some kind of a blockade, but isn't f4 coming at some point?
Yeah, the bishop on b7 doesn't seem too good right now.
Oh, white is not up a pawn.
It just feels that way.
Yeah, maybe e5 is... I would think like f4, e5. Maybe e5 is a bit too committal. Usually this exchange is good for white, but...
Yeah, now the bishop on b7 actually like kind of makes sense because e5 is hanging.
Yeah, this was, I think e5 was played too quickly. Like preparing f4 and then trying to play e5 would make more sense, perhaps. Because, okay, if I can play e5 and have disconnected fast pawns, I'd be quite happy. But e5, rook c8, yeah, rook c8, the problem is the queen does not have a good square to go to, and d5 falls immediately. So maybe he missed that rook c8 and the queen doesn't have a good square to go to, and the game ends in a draw. So this other game that we're looking at, it looks like
Black brought their king to g6.
yeah, Black made a lot of progress. We left off somewhere around here. So the king came to g6. But still quite a bit of work to do because the pawn structure is quite solid. So White just needs to exchange. White needs to exchange this g pawn somehow. Okay, Black still has to find a way to break through, because if I'm doing nothing, what is going to be Black's idea? So let's say you put a knight on f4, right? And then I do nothing. So you maybe bring the king in and try to exchange the rooks. Oh, maybe is rook b2 a move here?
Yeah, that's clever. Yeah, this endgame should be winning.
It's so tricky with knights. Because if you go f4, I will just ignore it. Because like this exchange, okay, especially, no, I don't know if I want to take, no, this should be easy because my knight should be able to come and take all these pawns.
Yeah, unlike with bishops, you don't have to be super concerned with the wrong color,
Yeah.
which you might be otherwise.
Yeah, so maybe knight f4 is already a threat of rook b2. So let's say king goes up. But now I can check. Do I want to check? King d4. I thought, I again thought this is a mating net, but it's not.
Now maybe we can play rook e3 check after king e5 and just like say that White's king isn't super useful on that side of the board, like rook d3, king e5, rook e3.
No, okay, maybe I need to be a bit more accurate here.
Okay.
Even so, I don't think this is such an easy win.
Yeah, now it actually looks like the king belongs on e4. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have
Maybe
done
we
this.
shouldn't encourage this king. Okay, and this other game that we were looking at, that Akshat, our tournament leader, going into this round, we left off somewhere around here. So this was played. This is actually exactly where we left off. So he went b3 and immediately b5. And with the idea of going a4 and breaking this pawn structure. So whenever you have a pawn chain, you want to go after the root of the pawn. So takes, knight h4, queen goes to d7, and queen f7. Yeah, I think
Yeah, the worst is probably over for Akshat.
definitely. So a lot of moves have been played. I think there was big time trouble at some point. Rook e8, nice tempo. g6, rook c5, that's a nice move.
Wait, why did... Okay, after so when he played rook e8, we're not losing a piece because after knight e7 we can just move. And if we take on d5 with the queen, we don't have to recapture on d5, we take on e7. Nice.
Maybe we can take one, I don't know which, I thought rook e7, rook c8, but maybe we take this way also. This hangs at the end. Yeah, so that was a good catch. So queen f3, g6, rook c5. So taking this way looks scary because you're getting mated all of a sudden.
Yeah, and then if you played queen g3, my favorite tactic, rook h1.
We had something similar, right, in Kirk's game.
Yeah.
So queen d5 instead was played. King g6, rook b8, rook a3, f4.
The rook's so passive on a3.
Yeah. This is like the worst place for the rook to be because ideally you want the rook behind. On the side you want it to be on c3, on d3, but like on the corner on the side, it's just not doing anything. And this king is so active, it's coming to take all the pawns. So rook h5, this is a good practical chance. So what are we going to have? Are we going to have 2 versus 1? Or if I take... Okay, if I go for this, it's 2 versus 1, but I don't think I want to allow this. I think I can just defend, right?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't even have to play 2 versus 1. But also that 2 versus 1 isn't super dangerous, right? Like with the H pawn. Like I think if we take and go king and e5 or e4, sure.
Yeah, and, oh, e5, that's what you said. Yeah, this king also, maybe we can cut this king off.
Yeah. I don't think black's in a whole lot of danger in this one.
No, but it's always, I don't know, for me it's always scary, especially like there's a pass pawn, but there's no reason to allow this.
Yeah, for sure.
And we saw this game ended. There's a few games we haven't quite looked at. There's so many games. Okay, so this game that I see on the board, this looks like a draw.
I think this game actually has already concluded in a draw, I believe.
Because we are past move 40, this position is just a draw. There's no way to break through here. Opposite color bishops. There's no zugzwangs or anything like that. And another game that's actually a very interesting endgame. So what is the position? So rook 2 pawns versus 2 minor pieces. So our players are Gleb Dudin and Jason Liang. Jason Liang, he did draw that game yesterday. It was the Italian we're looking at. So white is pressing here, but black has a nice blockade. So what is the point here? So we cannot, so if we push the pawn, then something like this might be interesting, but of course the knight will take and this will hang. So maybe white can start. But black's idea is to play king c5 on here, so eventually we have to defend this pawn, right?
Yeah, how do you ever make progress in this endgame?
Maybe on the king side we try to... So the question is, can this king move? I was trying to figure out... king c6. I was trying to be a bit clever here. I thought if you take with the bishop, I take this other pawns. And of course you cannot take with the knight, but of course you take this way. But apparently king c5 is a big mistake.
Yeah, and I saw the move, which...
Yeah, I also saw g5. But even then if I go back... So how do we make progress here? That's a very good question.
Yeah, I still don't fully understand.
So we can go all the way... Maybe we can zugzwang and...
Maybe the thing is we go... Yeah, we play like h4, so h2 isn't hanging ever, and then like, or sure,
h4.
Yeah, and then bring our king to like. Actually, I don't know where.
Yeah, we can go all the way to g4. We can go and going h5, but long time. Okay, so black can probably just go back and forth and just. Hold this position. Yeah, I don't see what's the great idea. So if we just make some moves and then this king comes here. So let's say king h3, if I'm waiting, king here, I'm waiting, h5, I'm waiting. No, I don't really see a way to break through here. So this might just be a blockade and I don't see how to make progress here. So let's keep going through the game. So this game ended. This game we expect to also end in a draw. And this one, I think black still has a lot of work to do to win. So we can go back to Group A. We had the game between Benjamin Bach and Illia Nyzhnyk that ended in a draw. And we will have... we have some other results as well. And, it looks like Dariusz Swiercz is winning his game against Nodirbek. This is actually a game we have not taken a look at. And Samuel Sevian, we saw that he won his game. We have just one more game going in this section. Christopher Yu game that we're still looking at. That was a very fascinating. And we do have a guest in the studio with us, Viktor Mikhalevski. I haven't seen you in so long. I know we used to play in the US a lot. We actually have played, so it's nice to see you again. So you had a draw with the white pieces. So what do you think were the key moments in this game?
In fact, I won on time, but it was...
Oh, you won on time.
Yeah. It was,
I did not realize that. Okay, so let's take a look at the game. So you played this position, so you decided not to play with d3, e4, and then at some point you got some kind of a double fianchettoed Benoni.
Yeah, well, I think this position should be better for white.
Because of your nice pawn structure and...
Yeah, and the bishop on b7 is bad, so... Yeah, but then I probably misplayed it.
So all of this still looks very nice for you.
Yeah, but then I wasn't so sure how to play this position.
So I mean,
So,
this looks
yeah,
logical.
I
right?
mean, yeah, it looks
in the center.
Yeah, it looks logical, but
Say 4. So what do you think about this b4 move?
probably before was inaccurate, but 2 moves later I just made a bad move, I think. After a5 was correct, queen d8, and now I think knight d1 was a mistake. I completely forgot that I'm not in time to play knight d2 c4, like the game. Probably I had to play like knight b1. My initial idea was even to sacrifice the pawn with knight a4. And then the other knight is coming to c4, and so that's very nice.
Oh yeah, that's a nice combination.
Yeah, or even bishop g7, knight b2, knight c4, like this.
Oh, let's take this way, right?
Or knight b2, c4.
Oh,
the
knight
other knight is coming, and so that's really nice. But then when we got this position, I thought, why should I give this pawn if I can just play knight d1 and play same position with equal pawns? But then after he played knight f6, I realized I cannot play knight d2, just he takes the d5 pawn.
Oh yes, I guess
that's what I forgot about.
Goes either way. Oh,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
And I cannot play knight e3 as well because the a4 pawn is hanging.
Oh, so you forgot that immediately the knight can
No,
move.
I saw knight f6, I thought I can
Oh.
play knight d2 and forgot about the d5 pawn.
Okay, so then you played rook e2.
Yeah, I thought I need to protect the rook, so I can play knight d2 c4, maybe a knight d2, knight e3. Yeah, h5 was interesting, in fact, so he is kind of preventing knight d2 because then he can go h4. I could probably still play it and allow h takes g3, but like
Yeah,
knight
this is
c4,
difficult,
h
right?
takes, f takes. It's probably still good for me, but
Maybe knight h5.
yeah,
Oh,
but-
this is hanging already.
yeah, but I tried to get the same position without even allowing h4. So I
went
played
king
king g1, yeah, with the idea of playing h4.
So we're actually wondering, is it possible
Yeah,
to take
knight
this?
e4 was very sharp. I wasn't sure because I think I should play bishop g2. That was my idea.
Ah, bishop g2.
Yeah, because if I play knight g5 instead, I think he can sacrifice the queen. Knight takes. Like rook e7, knight f3 check, king g2, and rook takes e7, and I cannot take the knight because of bishop takes d5, and I get checkmated.
Oh wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah, king f4, bishop h6.
Wow, this is really nice.
Yeah.
And
So
now knight e1 is a huge threat. Maybe you
Yeah.
need to go.
I could go to h1, but
H1.
then he just takes rook e7, and
Oh, this.
d5 is hanging.
e3.
Yeah, but I wasn't so happy about this position, frankly.
Yeah.
Like,
this-
he has
this is
rook.
very-
A rook, knight, and a pawn for the queen, and a nice position, I think. So that's why I was going to play bishop g2 instead of knight g5, with the idea of knight g5. And here I wasn't so sure. He has some moves, like, I don't know, bishop takes b2 maybe, or... I think I should take with the knight.
Oh, this is defended, okay.
Yeah, because
So you have to
I
do-
need the knight on e4 to be attacked.
But
And
can
now
you-
if queen f6, I can play rook a to e1. That was my idea, and the knight is still pinned.
Oh yeah. So, but maybe.
Yeah, but here, yeah, and just knight g5, I think.
Wow, this is so sharp.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but
Yeah, but here it looks
I-
like you're winning a piece, right?
probably here I'm winning a piece, but yeah, I wasn't so sure. I thought he will play knight e4.
So he went knight g4 instead. He took so knight g5.
Yeah, I think this position should be good for white.
Yeah, so here you're already getting everything you wanted, right? You got your
Yes,
knight to
yeah.
c4,
Yeah,
so
but
bishop back.
still I was short on time and wasn't so sure how to convert.
Knight to
Yeah,
c1.
maybe rook e1 was too slow, I don't know. Because he started to...
So in this position, why did you decide to go for e5?
Just because I was short on
Oh,
time.
you're sure? Because I thought maybe F4.
Yeah,
Trying to
maybe
35.
works, yeah. But then he may have check, maybe rook e7, I wasn't so sure. Or just rook e7 right away.
So can we kick the queen away?
Yeah,
And then,
back,
like,
let's see.
something like this.
Yeah, but then I'm not sure how I'm making progress here. Because I don't know if I can play e5.
Maybe it will just be a conversion. Because it looks like after e5,
No,
we're
yeah,
wondering
after
if he missed
e5
rook
it's just
c8.
equal, I think.
Right.
Yeah, queen, yeah, now it's forced. Queen b4, bishop d5, rook e5. And then here he lost on time on move 40.
Yeah, we thought it was just a draw because it was move 40. But yeah, that's very unfortunate. But here, okay, you're up a pawn, but
No,
it's
no,
not the
he
most
can play
impressive.
rook b7 instead of taking on g2, in fact. No, like later, after rook e5, rook b7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
he
then
just
just
gets
take
it
on
back
b3,
immediately,
yeah,
like bishop
and then
g2, rook
call it.
b3.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah, it's not,
a win is a win. Yeah, I know it's not the way you would want to win, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's very unfortunate. And yesterday you had a very interesting game. You played that King's Indian with a pawn sacrifice. It was a
Yes.
very instructive game, where with your a pawn, but eventually I saw that ended in a draw.
Yeah,
Well,
I could have even lost this.
Well, good luck. Thank you for joining us,
Yeah,
and good
thank
luck
you.
in the rest of your games. And we hope to see you back here again.
Thank you.
And let's continue looking through our games. So the last game we looked at was this game, and we're talking about, in this position, black instead, so bishop c7, all of these moves were played, and white went h4, and black went f6, not allowing this immediate g5 move. And let's see what other games we have left. So this game ended, and Akshat Chandra is now playing down a pawn, 2 versus 1. This is a theoretical drawn position. We expect this game to end in a draw. And in Group B, we still have this position. White hasn't made a move yet. So let's go back to Group A, where we have this fascinating game between Christopher Yu and Abhi Mishra, where so eventually in this position, so it took this pawn, and now again we have a pawn race. So we already had one of the pawns at queen, and apparently this game is completely equal. Queen d1 check is coming, this pawn is going to be queening, but this is a very scary position to play. And yeah, I don't know why. Okay, it's easy for the computer to say 0, but I think practically this is scary. And we do have a guest in the studio, Sevian. Congrats on your win.
Thank you.
So first, tell me what you think about this position.
I mean, this game was insane from the very,
Yeah, we
very
saw this
start.
game.
Yeah.
So
It did seem winning for white, but looks
at
like
some point, the computer was saying, so we started from here where white queened, and then all of this happened. I actually didn't see what happened here. So all of this happened.
Yeah, here probably the pawns are enough.
So all of, wait, so this is, apparently it's very good.
It's kind of a study-like position.
Why is this so good? It's so hard to
Oh,
understand.
he could have picked up the g7 pawn for free.
Because you cannot go here. This just loses a queen. But is it so important to take this g7 pawn?
Probably for queen f6 reasons later.
So he missed it. So he checked, king f5.
Oh, he didn't miss it.
No, he took it.
Oh, he shouldn't have taken it for some reason.
So b5. So I think moving this bishop was good because, so it's not under
I guess
attack
the
with a
point is
tempo.
that if they're b5, g3, we can probably play queen e5.
And then claim that this
And
pawn
then
cannot move.
just pick up the f3 pawn.
Okay. So I don't have a move with a king.
Yeah.
If I go here, you take
I
this.
can just go queen e4, just take the pawn.
Okay, you just want to take the f3 pawn, okay. Oh, so instead he took the pawn, which is not good, and then pushed the pawn. Queen g1 is a
g1
nice move.
Good move.
Oh, so the king just hides here. And now we have this position. So do you think it's going to be a draw? It's probably the bishop will give up itself,
Well,
right?
b6, queen d1 seems forced.
And,
Okay, if we block, they just take in g3. Yeah, it should be a draw.
and if I block,
That might be
Sure.
scary for white. Queen d5, f2.
and then this pawn. So for example, if I, is this already
worst,
losing?
worst case, I can always go takes g3, I think.
Take. Oh, something like this.
Yeah.
Does this, and then this is a perpetual. Oh, but here I don't even have a threat, right? Because this is blocking.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, crazy game. Yeah, this was a really wild game from the beginning. It was at some point it was rook against like 4 pawns, and then
Yeah, it was a pretty insane position.
All right, let's take a look at your game. So you had a really nice win. So let's take a look. So you played. So you're white.
Yeah.
You're playing the Berlin endgame.
Yeah, I think he mixed up plans here. He played bishop e7 with the idea of knight h4, and then he played h5 on the next move. Which usually people don't mix those two.
Right. Yeah, we're also talking about h5, and Julian was saying that usually want to play bishop e6, so your king goes the other
Yeah.
way. Okay, so he went bishop h4, h5, rook e1.
Yeah, basically, takes knight e2 is nice, and I want to play knight d4 here, followed by e6. And he played a6 really quickly to stop knight d4.
Yeah,
But
so knight d4 can be
there's
met with
c5,
c5.
yeah, but he missed that. I can go e6.
Yeah, this is very thematic for the structures, and he has to take with the bishop. We talked about this. So now c7 is hanging.
Yeah.
So the interesting part was this rook endgame that we reached. So in this position, like, what did you think of your chances?
I thought maybe instead of rook takes b7, I should have taken control of the d file with rook d1.
Also playing for
And then
activity.
just bring the king to e3.
So
I think there's really good technical chances here. King goes to e3, and black's rook is so passive.
So he has to defend this, right?
He can still play b5 because I can't do rook a7 yet. Then I bring my king over, a5, a4.
And then just play against the structures.
So rook takes b7 was kind of risky by me, but it's still very difficult to defend for black. He started off doing the right move, so rook d2 is fine, rook d8 is good, rook d6 is good, rook e2 is good.
Yeah, this was really nice.
I think here he has to go a5. It's the safest move.
We're thinking of just waiting.
That's what he played.
That is what he played.
He allowed a5.
Not to allow you a5.
Because now it becomes really difficult for him.
And in this position, what do you think about c5?
I was considering rook takes d6, rook takes d6, b4. I think rook d3 only move. b5, takes. I'm not sure. I think I have good chances here.
So
here I have rook b1. Yes, put the rook on a8.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at this, and there was some kind of a just by force we reached king and pawn endgame. There was a draw, but of course, I think you had
It's
other
very hard
way.
to calculate this.
Yeah, and I think
in
you
a
had
lot of
good
these
chances.
positions, also like if I pick up the c5 pawn and then play h4, g8, rook takes h5, that 2 versus 1 ending is pretty unpleasant for black.
Yeah. So you think he shouldn't have allowed? So he should have played a5 here.
Rook e2 is fine.
Oh, rook e2.
After rook. Here I think a5 is the correct move. b4. The idea is now he goes rook c2. So I was planning to play b3 instead of b4, and play c4, and just like stay solid, attack the pawn on a5 with rook a6. Still definitely difficult for black, but in the game, after a5, rook d5, rook c6, rook a5, I found this really nice move h4.
Yeah, I thought h4 was really nice.
Apparently black can hold, but that's
just take
rook e1. I was thinking rook e5 here is interesting.
Yeah, we're analyzing this. We're
Rook
trying to
takes
figure
e5,
out.
king takes e5, rook takes a6.
So this is also very likely to go to some 2 versus 1,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Rook a5. This is what I was talking about just now. So here I take on h5,
And then
rook c2. And either I can take on h4 and play this a really unpleasant endgame, or I can keep the pawn rook c5.
which one do you think gives you better winning chances?
Honestly, I was considering playing rook c5 during the game, because I can always take this pawn.
Yeah, you can always
if I really
transpose
want
to
to,
this position.
Yeah, there's some really, there are recent games where white won this endgame pretty easily.
I have lost this endgame before.
It's definitely difficult.
So h4, yeah, he went rook b2.
This is definitely.
And rook e1, it's a really nice move. And here we're wondering, because you took on a6 immediately, and we're wondering, did you calculate it until it went? Because it looks like rook f6 is kind of an unpleasant check to give.
If king g5?
King g5.
Oh, we want to
like
mate the
rook
king. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought rook takes a6 was a pretty easy win.
Okay.
I'm interested how the computer defends.
I think, how does the computer defend? I think it's just...
I was...
Yeah, but I thought this is a win for you because you have the f-pawn.
I thought this was a win too. So king g5, rook c5 check. King g6, let's say I go...
c4?
Yeah. King h6, rook c8. King g5, c5.
Oh yeah, it was, there's this amazing idea that...
Oh,
but no one is finding this over the board.
That's insane. Oh, it's so concrete because my pawn has to be on c5.
Yeah, it has to be the same. But
wow.
Okay, finding this over the board is just impossible.
Yeah, I thought I was completely winning after rook takes a6.
Yeah, we also thought that you thought this position because...
Well, rook b1, there's no fight. Now...
Oh, not this, yeah. Yeah, we thought like this position, you thought it's a win because in that, if you push the pawn all the way, like we're looking at here, I guess we were saying like this position.
This is,
yeah, then the f-pawn is just
wow,
win.
that's very cool.
Yeah, because like the computer also just drops, we're trying to figure out why, and then it's just this crazy idea. But instead, rook b1 was played.
If I play c6 instead of allowing stalemate?
No, here, so here, oops, not that. So here, c6, no, but then
and king f1.
mate. But I think this one. So king h2.
f4. I guess I'm way too slow.
h3.
Oh, it's also stalemate. Again, f5, king h1, f6,
Oh, just
h2, f7, rook f2.
Yeah. But do I have to? Can I do this?
King e2.
I cannot move this.
Check.
Can I? No, I cannot.
Oh
take.
yeah, check.
And check and then
you take the pawn and then
this endgame.
King's 2-4. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this was a fascinating endgame.
Wow, is this endgame actually drawn if based on this idea?
Oh, like this whole endgame.
Yeah, after rook
this
takes
2
a6.
versus 2. Let me find this. Like this endgame?
Yeah. So rook c2, rook c6, king g5. If I sit with rook c4, I'm just king g6. Yeah, there's not really, because f3, I assume they go h3. Maybe I would try something like this. Because I understand it's a draw, but it's very difficult still. I mean, I'm going to attack the h-pawn.
I mean, maybe if you reach this kind of position, right? If you're already here, your opponent can find h3.
Yeah.
But just to think, he probably also thought that this is
also, if h3, c6, I guess rook c1, king h2, hg, king g2.
And I think
and the king goes to e6.
My time. I thought that maybe I hide. Oh, okay, because it's just one pawn, yeah. Can I hide here too, or this is bad? No, here you just push the f-pawn, right? This doesn't work out. Okay, so...
So instead of rook takes a6, a rook f6 check is...
Here, yeah, rook f6. I'm not sure if here you're actually... Because you have to go h3 not to get mated. Because f4 is actually a very strong threat.
So h3, g3.
And then just try to...
And we want to go king h2. Wow. I mean, this seemed unnecessary to calculate because rook a6 seemed so completely winning.
Yeah, I think because there's no way you can find this stalemate starting from this position.
If you don't know this stalemate idea, you can't.
Yeah, there's no way you can find it unless someone tells you about Gergely.
Not really an endgame you'd ever analyze with h5, h4.
Yeah, and then everything that happened was this is you just pick up the pawns, and once you pick up this pawns. Yeah, this was very nice because you just get to keep both pawns.
Yes, I didn't feel like calculating, so
no. Yeah, nice, very nice victory. And yesterday, your draw was...
I drew Gledura.
Oh yes, and who do you play tomorrow?
Illia tomorrow.
Illia tomorrow, and you'll be playing with the black pieces.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your win, very nice endgame, and we hope to see you back here again after many victories. Thank you. And let's see what other games we have. Let's look at Mishra's game. Is what is going on here? So there's been some checks here. So the pawn is all the way on b6. Let's see, we'll see another set of queens on the board. Queen d5 and check. So I think this game is winding down. Either there's going to be some perpetual, or there's going to be that endgame that we saw where white was queening or the queens rather were being traded, and g-pawn was queening and was going to be a draw. So I believe in this, so this is the only game we have left. And this game, yes, we have all other results. So the only game we have in Group A is this Christopher Yu versus Abhi Mishra game. And in Group B, so Mikhalevski actually flagged. We thought it was a draw. This game is still going. So this game, we couldn't find a way for white to break through. So we will see if white comes up with an idea. We have a draw here. We have, okay, this game is going to be a very easy draw. I think the fact that the king went to e5 indicates that this game is a draw because black is not playing king e5 here. And Gergely Kantor versus Kirk Ghazarian. Okay, some developments have happened. So let us see what is going on here. So king f2, knight f4, check. And this is the position. Okay, so it feels like that after g3, this is some kind of an achievement for black, but let's see how we can exploit this. So the rook on e6 is very well placed, defending the pawn. And now the king can maybe start coming in. Or can we try to win a pawn with rook e3? So knight e1 is not a move, something like this. Is this how white has to defend? This looks a bit sad, so maybe now the king can start coming in because f4 will run into knight g4 with a tempo.
Yeah, certainly white is suffering a bit and black is going to be pressing this maybe for a long time, maybe not.
So white has 22 minutes. So again, yesterday Kirk was on the worst side of the position, but he had more time, which is I think very important when you're defending to have more time than your opponent. At least you have that going for you. And what else do we have? So I think we have those 3 games left. So Christopher Yu game we can keep an eye on. And we see the players in the playing hall. It's been a very intense, very entertaining game. And we had this interview with Sam Sevian. I think that was a very instructive end game. It's one of the things to keep in mind. If you ever have this in a game, you can draw this game. And I also believe we have the standings for our groups to see how the tournament is progressing so far.
So Sam Sevian has won today and has tied for the lead because Yasser Quesada Perez drew today. They stand on 1.5 points out of 2. There will be a multi-way tie for second with 1 out of 2. And some people struggling at the bottom with half a point and one person currently on 0, but probably not going to stay that way. That's Abhi Mishra. And here are the standings for Group B. Viktor Mikhalevski has won his game today, which means he will tie for the lead with Akshat Chandra with 1.5 out of 2. So there are no perfects in any of the groups. And there's, again, going to be a 2-way tie for second place with 1 out of 2 with Felix and Luka, and several people on half a point out of 1 tied for third place.
Well, this has been a really fascinating round. Really many games that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed this endgame by Sam Sevian. It was so instructive, something I didn't know before and he didn't know before, so I think we all learned something in this game. And of course, this game between Christopher Yu and Abhi Mishra has been a very fascinating battle, and we expect this game to be winding down and ending in a draw.
But yeah, every game, everyone's fighting. It's super exciting. Definitely, you guys should tune back in tomorrow at 4 p.m. for our coverage of the 3rd round of the Spring Chess Classic.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.